calling the Civil Service Commission meeting to order for July 16th, 2024. All commissioners are present. I will now hand it over to Chair Stevens.
Thank you. Item number one, actually it's item number two. How about the approval of minutes from last month's meeting?
I move to approve.
I second that motion.
Any discussion?
No.
Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. Let's go to item number three, the Chief Examiner update, please.
Good morning, Commission. I will be very brief. I don't have much to report this month other than just to say it's been a very busy summer for us so far. Plenty of work requests coming and positions to fill, even with our current budget situation. So we will keep churning.
Thank you. Looks like we're on to new business. Item 4A, request to reconvene rule review.
Item 4A is a request by Mayor Brown to reconvene rule review to consider the adoption of examination scoring criteria based on a new Senate Bill 6157 that passed and went into effect at the beginning of June. I'm sure you've all seen the letter that she wrote to Commissioner Chair and the rest of the Commission regarding this request. It's up for your discussion and vote.
All right, so has everyone had an opportunity to read the request from the mayor?
Yes.
Any motions on the topic?
I move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, I would just say that I think in looking at the request from the mayor to reconvene the rule review for this limited scope of purpose seems appropriate under the circumstances and something worthy of our consideration. Any other comments, questions, concerns? All right, call for a vote.
Aye in favor.
Aye.
Yeah. Aye. I guess I should have said all in favor. So,
Yeah.
all opposed? Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. We will move on to item 4C.
4B, you mean?
Did we just do
No.
4B? Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're right. 4B. I'm trying to rush the meeting, I guess.
All right.
Let's
I'll
go
slow
with,
you down.
Let's go with 4B, classification actions.
4B, Resolution 2024-08, classification action. This month, we present a progression line of 3 job classifications for retitle. SPN 002, 003, 004, Clerk 2, Clerk 3, Clerk 4 are being retitled to Office Clerk Assistant, Office Clerk Specialist, and Office Supervisor. The title changes bring a more modern feel to the progression line and reflects the level of work in our classification plan. These changes have received the concurrence of management and Local 270, and we recommend the adoption.
Thank you. Was that recommendation also with labor?
Yes, Local 270, yes.
Thank you. Call for a motion.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
Chair Stevens, Commissioners, Chief Examiner, I wanted to thank civil service staff. I got to do the predominant amount of work on these 3 classifications, and it is nice to see them updated and a little more reflecting upon what their jobs are and everything. So kudos to the civil service staff that I worked with on this.
Thank you.
Thanks, Richard.
With that, I will call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Let's go to item 4C now.
Item 4C is just a general budget discussion for the 25-26 budget. We have been asked, as all city departments were asked, to create 2 budgets for the 25-26 budget. The first exercise, or Book 1, was to include a 10% reduction in expenses. The attached budget document outlines what a possible 10% reduction looks like for civil service. It would, for us, 10% would need to include an elimination of one full-time merit systems analyst too. Since the administration is currently moving to a biennium budget, any cuts we make will be for two years. I'm really only presenting this information for discussion and review. I will be presenting my preferred not 10% reduction in August also for conversation and review. I really just kind of want to open it up for discussion with questions or concerns or just conversation about what the 25-26 budget looks like.
So what would the reduction, the loss of that one person to the department, what would that happen? What would that include? How would that affect the department?
It would be quite difficult. We will be doing less work. I mean, straight up, we will be recruiting, we will be doing less recruitments, we will be building less tests, we will be doing less classification work. There really isn't, especially since at the last rule review, the rules were changed so that open lists are now only good for 12 months instead of 24. In a perfect world, I'd be asking for an additional staff member to compensate for that. Clearly, it's not the moment. But to lose a person full-time is going to be quite challenging to accomplish the work.
We'll never get the person back.
That obviously would be my concern, yes,
So this is just for discussion
correct,
today?
yes.
And you're coming back with it? When you come back, I would like to see for the commissioners where that puts us within the city charter in relationship to the specific percentage that you know I'm discussing.
Absolutely, yeah. We have traditionally, at least in my time as chief, I have kept our charter number at about 0.75, 0.76. I'm uncomfortable going higher than that, but the loss of an entire person will take us below that number. I think it will get us to like 0.6, something around there. I don't have the exact number for that at this point. Obviously, I'm not a fan of the book one option. I don't like that. I think we can make some cuts that will not make us to the 10%, but that are prudent and good and are doable and achievable, and still will keep us in that 0.75 range.
If you present cuts, echoing my fellow commissioner here, I think I would like to see what impact, the number of tests that would be reduced, the number of job postings, the effect to the department's support to other city departments, and obviously, all departments are going to be aware. Okay, you know where I'm going. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or concerns?
At some point in time, the commission needs to make sure that the executive branch understands just exactly what type of impact this is going to have on the citizens of this city. As a county employee, at this point in time, my office and the public defender's office have lost so many senior people that we no longer can effectively adjudicate cases, no matter how many judges we have. And so at some point in time, the county, the citizens of this entire county need to decide what they're going to do about it, because we now have, both offices have lost somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 deputies each. Law enforcement hasn't stopped referring cases to us. So the Civil Service Department is going to continue to receive and need to do its job with fewer people. They can't come back and complain to the commission, well, you guys, you're not getting this done, when they cut the legs out from underneath the department.
Well, also, you are completely in control of our budget. We have the authority to take up to the 1% based on the charter. this was an exercise, to be good neighbors and be a part of this process. I think we all know that there's significant budget issues with this organization. I think we want to be helpful, but also you as a body can decide that we're not going to make this significant of cut. It's just not possible. So I just really I wanted you all to see sort of what other departments are being asked to do, and this is what it would look like for our department if we did this. And that may not be plausible, but I mean, we already are. There's plenty of people out there saying that we're too slow currently. But
Don't misunderstand us. Go through the exercise. It's important. We need to be partners with all other partners within the city. But at the same point in time, we could argue that we've already made 24 basis point cuts by not adhering to the 1% threshold with which we could adhere to.
yes.
And I'm not saying we're going down that road. We could go down that road. But we need to be good partners. We need to be good team players.
Yep.
But ensure that interdepartmentally, everybody understands what the impact would be to each department and ultimately to the citizens of the city.
And I'll just add that I think that both Commissioner Holt and Commissioner Lindsay raised really good points, and that I also want to make sure that we are clear in our communication that this commission would be the one that would set the budget. And what I mean by that is that if, for example, another portion of the city government decided that, oh no, we'll do it for you, we'll just go ahead and make recommendations based on what we're doing across other departments. And I think, again, as Commissioner Holt was just saying, being a good partner, great. We want to participate. We want to collaborate. But the bottom line is that this commission does set that within the parameters that we've been given. And I think that's an important distinction to make.
Agreed. Thank you. Any other conversation regarding budgets? Again, I will have a second budget for August for us to also have a discussion about. And then I think that that'll give us plenty of, I'm presenting these things early so that there's plenty of time for discussion and change as we proceed through the budget process.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Yeah, that kind of goes without saying, but thank you for saying that. Item 4D, please.
Item 4D is the appointment of Spokane Employee Retirement System Board Representative to the Civil Service Commission, Ms. Karen Stratton. Richard? No commission action is required on this. This is just an introduction.
Chair Stevens, Commissioners, Chief Examiner, Richard Zernick again. This time I'm going to wear the hat of one of the three employee elected representatives from CSRS. We looked at potential applicants for the position and decided together that having a former employee who worked under civil service and a former council member who also dealt with civil service would be an excellent addition to the board, and I would like to introduce Karen Stratton as that appointee.
Thank you. I have to tell you, it's great to be back, but I'm a little nervous on being on this side of it. I am thrilled to be here. As I was thinking in retirement, I wanted to stay involved. I wanted to do something, to continue to do something for the city. And civil service was really, the Civil Service Commission was really at the top of my mind and my heart. I was a city employee. I started at the city in 2005, worked as an employee until 2014. One of the reasons I applied for the open position on city council was that I had great concerns about how our employees were being treated at that time. And I've always worked well with the Civil Service Office. I believe in the civil service protections for our employees. I cringe when I used to hear whispers of individuals trying to undermine civil service. There's a place, there's a purpose, and I am happy to be part of this and so honored, especially the fact that I was such good friends with Judith Gilmore. And so this is a double punch for me. I'm very proud and I'm very happy. Thank you.
Welcome. Any friend of Judith's is a friend of ours.
And I just wanted to add, especially after the budget issue that was just addressed, it would be nice to have a full commission ready to deal with the issues that come up. You've all put in a lot of hard time and work. Speaking on behalf of Local 270, I appreciate it. Civil service is one of the portions of the city that keeps it running, and a lot of people either don't understand that or don't want to understand that. So I look forward to seeing Karen up there with the rest of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just add that I've had the pleasure of working with Karen for many years, and welcome to the commission, and we're looking forward to having you.
And I promised everybody I wouldn't start telling jokes until probably my second meeting.
All right. I promised I would never tell jokes, so we'll have to let you take that. Item number 5, please. Other business.
Any other business before the commission this morning?
Anything from the Guild? Excellent. We'll move on to our favorite item, item number 6.
I move to adjourn.
Second that motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.